Hi folks, and welcome to race number 1 of the Smashdown Demo Derby. Introducing the drivers: number 5, Legless Tommy Wallace in the Victory Sedan. Number 23, Colin the Gimp Ball in the El Presidente Limousine. Number 33, Pancho Papadoc Valdez in the Puma Sports Sedan. Number 24, Bleeding Betty Royce in the Seaboard Custom Coupe, number 24. Number 16, Barney the Boss Cox in the 62 Venus Sedan. Number 50, Blind Billy Butts in the 69 Jupiter Coupe. Number 1, Toothless Joe Jackson in the 65 National Sedan. Number 66, Charlene the Cheat Annis in the 65 Brute passenger van. And finally, number 45, Ira the Bible Basher Cross in the 61 Nighthawk Coupe. Those are the drivers for tonight's race. They're on the starting line and they're about to start. So here we go. Number 5, Legless Tommy Wallace comes up first. 32 is X exclamation point and asterisk, so that's the spot. So that will be number 23, who is Pancho Papadoc Valdez, get an external. The exclamation point, I just have to check this because it's my first time I've played this. The exclamation point is that's page 1. Internal damage to his car as well, and the star is the lowest rated car, which is him. So Valdez, Pancho Papadoc Valdez, 32 in the 23 car. There's no damage, so we move on to number 33. Sorry, that was 23, Colin the Gimp. So we now move to 33, Pancho Papadoc Valdez, 11. 11 is external damage to an opponent, and it's the asterisk, which is the most external damage. Neither have got damage, therefore it will be number 5, Legless Legless Tommy Wallace, who gets the damage. And we move on to the second row. In the 66 Seaboard, number 24, Bleeding Betty Royce. 54, is external, internal, both cars, and the star, which is the least. So we're going to use the decider because they've all got 0, and that is number 16, Barney Cox. Barney the Boss Cox gets an external and an internal, and Bleeding Betty Royce damages her own car at the same time. So in the 62 Venus Sedan, number 16, Barney the Boss Cox. 63 is a skid, and they're all rated C, and it is a 4, which is an external damage to himself. So Barney the Boss Cox tries to make a maneuver, but only ends up giving himself some more external damage. And number 50, Blind Billy Bucks in the 69 Jupiter Coupe 13 is external and internal to the opponent, and it is going to be the Venus Tazan number 16, Barney the Boss Cox. So he's taking some damage in this first round of challenges. Number 1, Toothless Joe Jackson in the 65 National Sedan. 45 is a skid, 6 is an unusual result. 34, Vroom Smash. 4 externals to the lowest damaged car, and they're both, everybody's the same, so it's going to be to number 45, Ira Bible Basher Cross. He's waving his book at him, but only from a car that's falling to bits at the moment. Number 65, number 66 in the 65 Brute passenger van is Charlene the Cheat Annis. 65 is a skid, 2 on a C is no damage. And finally, in the 61 Nighthawk Classic Coupe, number 45, Ira Bible Basher Cross. 22 exclamation point. So external and 2 internal damages to the non-spot, which is going to be number 66, Charlene the Cheat Annis. And after the first round of challenges, the cars begin to rev up to start the next set of challenges. And we have 45 Bible Basher, 23 Colin the Gimp Ball, 33 Papa Doc Valdez, 50 Blind Billy Butts, number 16 Barney the Boss Cox, number 66 Charlene the Cheat Annis, and then in the third section, number 1 Toothless Joe Jackson, number 5 Legless Tommy Wallace, and number 24 Bleeding Betty Royce. So here we go, number 45 Ira the Bible Basher Cross, waving his crucifix as he drives by. 46 is car, 2 is current damage, external damage is 4. So he's going to stall. So he stalls his car. And we move on to the 78 El Presidente limousine of Colin the Gimp Ball. 55 is a skid, 1 on a C is an external damage, and it's external damage 2 Ira Bible Basher Cross. Is he looking at the last rights in this race already? And number 33 Pancho Papadoc Valdez in his 73 Puma Sport sedan. 43 he's got external damage to his own vehicle, trying to take out some more of Bible Basher Cross, but ends up giving himself more damage. And we move on to the second section, number 50, the 69 Jupiter Coupe of Blind Billy Butts. Number 50 Billy Butts, 41 internal, external against the highest, and that's the 16 of Cox and 66 of Annis, so it'll be Cox. So 1 external for Cox and 1 external for Billy Butts. As we move to number 16, Barney the Boss Cox in his 62 Venus sedan. 55 is a skid. 6 is an unusual result. 14, look out, bam. 4 external damages and 2 internal damages, and that is going to number 66, Charlene the Cheat Annis. So she's in a bit of trouble inside and outside of the Brutes, the 65 Brute passenger van. Can she cause any damage back? 33 is no damage. And we go to the final section, number 1, Toothless Joe Jackson in his 65 National sedan. 46. His car 1, and Jackson has got no damage, so it's an external damage. 2, number 5, Legless Tommy Wallace. Tommy Wallace will now have his opportunity. 21, number 5, 21 is no damage. So no damage caused there, and the final attack in this round is number 24, Bleeding Betty Royce in her 66 Seaboard Custom Coupe. 43 is an external damage, and that will go to Toothless Joe Jackson. And after 2 rounds of competition, everybody taking a bit of a stock of how they're going. Not looking good for the Bible basher. He's throwing holy water out of his window to try and help with his car. Charlene the Cheat Annis, she's just trying to keep moving. So the sections this time are Barney the Boss Cox, 23 Colin the Gimp Ball, 33 Pancho Papadoc Valdez, number 50 Blind Billy Butts, number 24 Bleeding Betty Royce, number 1 Toothless Joe Jackson, number 66 Charlene the Cheat Annis, number 5 Legless Tommy Wallace, and number 45 Ira Bible Basher Cross. So the 62 Venus sedan of number 16 Barney the Boss Cox. 45 is a skid. 4 is a C, and he gets external damage to his own car. And coming up close on his heels in the 78 El Presidente limousine is number 23 Colin the Gimp Ball. 35 is also a skid. Must be very slippery out there, and he damages his own vehicle. First bit of external damage for him. And now number 33 Pancho Papadoc Valdez. 54 gives him damage to his own car. And we move to the second section in the 69 Jupiter Coupe, number 50 Blind Billy Butts. Blind Billy doing well at the moment, keeping out of trouble. 31 is external and 2 internals to the highest. So we've got 24 who's got 1, and Toothless Joe Jackson has got 1, so it's going to go to Toothless Joe Jackson. 1 external, 2 internal, and we move on to the 66 Seaboard Custom Coupe of number 24 Bleeding Betty Joyce. Bleeding Betty Joyce 61 is an external and an internal to themselves against the highest rated. So 50 is 1 and 1 is 2, so an external for Toothless Joe Jackson and an internal for 24, Bleeding Betty Royce, and Toothless Joe comes up. Looking around. 54 is no damage, and we turn our attention to the 65 Brute Passenger Wagon of number 66, Charlene the Cheat Annie. 36 is Car. 3, she's got 5 damages, and she will stall. So there's a stall on Charlene the Cheat. Number 5, Legless Tommy Wallace. Legless Tommy Wallace, 23 is 2 internal damages to his own car. 23. Actually, I looked at the wrong one there, so there's no external damage for internal damage for Tommy Wallace. There's no damage at all, and the Nighthawk of Bible bashing Billy Cross, he has to roll an odd. We'll give him installed, and it's a 2, so it's not 56. So the Bible basher is back in business. 56 is Car. Got to roll that again. 3. He's got 5 damage, and he stalls again. So he's having car trouble, and the round ends. And they'll be looking for more action. Who else can they take a pop shot at? So the 66 Seaboard Custom Coupe of number 24, Bleeding Betty Royce. Bleeding Betty Royce. 13. No damage. Number 23, Colin the Gimp Ball. He's looking around for cause some mayhem. 24 is external damage and internal damage to the least. So 24 has got 1, 33 has got many, so 24. Bleeding Betty Royce gets the external and the internal damage from that collision, and we move to Pancho Papadoc Valdez. 32 external, internal against the least damaged. So we got 24. Bleeding Betty Royce has got 2, and 23. Colin the Gimp Ball has got 1. So Papadoc takes revenge on the Gimp as we move to see what's happening with Barney the Boss Cop. Number 16. 1-5 is a skid, and it's a 1, and that will be external damage to number 1, Toothless Joe Jackson. The 65 Brute Passenger Van of number 66, Charlene the Cheat Annis. 26. It is an even number, so she's back in the race. And 26 is Car, so we're going to roll that again. 5. She has got 5 damage. 5 and 5, and it is an engine issue this time. So now she's going to be very, very careful, as number 1, Toothless Joe Jackson, comes round the corner looking for trouble. 52 is no damage, and we go to the number 45, the 61 Nighthawk Classic Coupe of Ira the Bible Basher Cross. He's stalled again, and he's now back in the race. 51 external damage to the worst, and so we've got number 5 Legless, who's got 2, and number 50 Billy Butts, who's got 1. So Legless gets another 2 external damages, and we move on to number 5 Legless Tommy Wallace. Legless Tommy Wallace, will he look for some revenge on Ira? 54 is external on both against the worst, so 45 Papa Doc is Ira Bible Basher, so he is really beginning to struggle around this track. And finally, the number 50 of Blind Billy Butts. Blind Billy Butts 46 is car 4. The damage to Billy Butts so far is 1, so that's good. And it's an external damage to number 45 Ira, the Bible Basher Cross, and he jumps out, gets his cassette caught, and he is out of the race with external damage, finishing 9th, and that will be the end of the race for the Preacher Man in his 69 Jupiter Coupe number 45, sorry, in his 61 Nighthawk Classic Coupe. Ira, the Bible Basher Cross, stood in the middle of the circuit reading a sermon with fury on his face, but at the end of it he's still out. So here we go, 8 drivers left in. Number 50 Blind Billy Butts has already put 1 driver out. 44 Blind Billy Butts, number 44, external, internal against the least damaged. Toothless Joe has 4. Papa Doc Valdez has 4, so it's going to be against 33 Papa Doc. So an external and an internal damage to Papa Doc. Number 33 comes up, Papa Doc Valdez. 54 is external damage to the least damaged car. Toothless has got 4. Billy Butts has got 1, so internal damage for Billy Butts. And Toothless Joe Jackson comes up. Let's see what he's looking to do here. 26 is a car, and he's got 4 damage. 3 on a 4, he's going to stall. So Toothless Joe is stalled. And in the El Presidente limousine, number 23, Colin the Gimp Ball. 43. There's no damage caused by Colin the Gimp. Charlene the Cheat Anis comes round, looking to cause mayhem. 13. But she is odd, so it's still stalled. She's trying to get that thing going. Number 5, Legless Tommy Wallace. 63 external and internal to the opponent, and external to himself at the worst one. So 23 El Presidente has 2, and 66 Charlene. So it's going to be Charlene who's stalled and been hit. So external, internal, and an external for Tommy Wallace. As we go to number 24, Leading Betty Royce. Leading Betty Royce, looking to square up with Barney the Boss Cox. 21. External and internal against Barney the Boss Cox. And Barney the Boss looking back at Betty Royce. He's got her in his sights. 15 is a skid. 6 is an unusual result. 26 tangled with another car, smacked by third. 3 zeros and a question mark, so that's 3 externals to himself and an internal to himself, and that will be the sad end. Coming in 8th with external damage, Barney the Boss Cox will drop out of this race in 8th place, leaving us 7 races left. Legless Tommy Wallace and Charlene the Cheat Annis are holding on. The best placed at the moment will be Blind Billy Butts, but Colin the Gimp and Bleeding Betty Royce are also in a very good position. So here we go, number 5, Legless Tommy Wallace. 33 is 2 external and 1 internal to himself, so he didn't get that quite right, and that will take him out of this race in 7th place with external damage. And Legless Tommy Wallace went for Toothless Joe, but mistimed it, clipped him and ran into the barriers, and that's the end of him for this race. So 22 for Joe Jackson is odd, so he's still stalled. How he could miss a stalled car, I'll never know, but he did. Number 50, Blind Billy Buck, coming round the corner. 14. External and internal against the opponent, Joe Jackson. So Toothless takes a bit more damage as we move into the bottom section. There's 4 in this now, so 1, 4 will be 1, 2, 5 will be 2, and 3, 6 will be 3 if we need it to decide who the person is that gets the damage. So number 66, Charlene the Cheat Annis, hanging on in there. 42. It is even, so engine. She's rolled a 6, and that is the end of her race. So she's out with engine failure. So she finishes 6th. The engine gave up, and out she goes. So the 65 Brute passenger van didn't make it to the end of the race, and number 23, Colin the Gimp Ball in the 78 El Presidente limousine. 41. There's no damage, and we move to the 73 Puma Sports Sedan of number 33, Pancho Papadoc Valdez, still hanging in there. 65. 65 is a skid. 1, and that is a damage to the seaboard of number 24, Bleeding Betty Royce, who will now come around looking for a bit of revenge. Who's she going to tag with this? 66 is car 2. She has damage of 3, and so it's external damage to number 23, Colin the Gimp Ball. So keeping everybody close in as we look to what the next set of challengers will be. Number 33, Pancho Papadoc Valdez. Car's looking a bit bruised and battered. 13 is 2 externals against the least. So 50 has got 1, 23 has got 3. So Blind Billy Butts takes a bit of damage there, but he will be coming back round to see what he can do. 13. External and internal against number 23, Colin the Gimp Ball, who will now come round looking for some revenge. 63. 63 is no damage. He totally missed out, and so we're back to Toothless Joe Jackson, who's currently stalled, and he gets his car moving. 13. External to himself and his opponent, and internal to his opponent, and it is the highest, well, it's got to be number 24 because he's the only one in the section. External, internal, and external to Toothless Joe, but if he picks up any more damage he will be gone. So the number 24, Bleeding Betty Roy. 44. 44 is just damage to her own car, so Betty makes a total hash of that, misses Joe Jackson, and all 5 cars are still in the race. So here we go, number 33, Papadoc Valdez. 25 is a skid. He's a 1 on a C. He will get damage, and damage will go to number 23, Colin the Gimp Ball. Colin the Gimp didn't look happy about that. Don't think he was prepared for it. Can he get any revenge? 14. 2 external and an internal against the least damaged car. 33 has 5. 50 has 3, and Billy Butts takes 2 damage, and Colin the Gimp takes 1. He could have been against his other opponent there. Valdez would have been out. And Blind Billy Butts, he's looking for some action here. 31 is external and 2 internal against the worst. So 23 is 6. And 33 is 5. So Colin the Gimp Ball goes out in 5th place with external damage. And we're down to 4, which means that this group will now continue in this sequence. Number 1, Toothless Joe Jackson. So Colin the Gimp has gone. Toothless Joe, 16. Car, 6. He's got 6 damage. And it's an engine issue, so he's got engine issues. His light is on, but he still continues. The 66 Seaboard Custom Coupe of number 24, Bleeding Betty Roy. 64. 64 is 2 external against the least damaged. 33 has got 5. 50 has got 5. 1 has got 6. So it's these 2, and it's the second one, number 50. So Blind Billy Butts takes the 2 damage, and he will drop out with external damage, and we're down to 3 cars. So we have number 33 in the 73 Puma Sports Sedan, Pancho Papadoc Valdez. Number 1 in the 65 National Sedan, Toothless Joe Jackson. And number 66 in the Seaboard Custom Coupe, number 24, Bleeding Betty Roy. Still coming round, Papadoc Valdez looking for trouble. 61 is 2 externals against the least damaged. Toothless Joe's got 6. Betty Royce has got 5, and so Betty Royce takes the damage, and she cannot continue. We're down to the last 2, and it's the National Sedan, the 65 National Sedan of Toothless Joe Jackson, speeding round, looking for Papa Doc Valdez. 65. Oh, and his engine has packed in. His engine has given up. Just as he was closing in. Just as he was closing in on Valdez, Toothless Joe Jackson's engine has given up the ghost, and Pancho Papadoc is the winner of the first Demo Derby Smashdown race. Great finish. Joe Jackson was steaming round the corner, looking to take Papadoc out and take the prize money, but he just couldn't get his engine to go, and eventually he's out of the car. He's kicking his car. He's on the top of the bonnet, or the hood as you would call it in America, and he's bouncing up and down with fury. Valdez pulls in at the side of him, offers his hand. Oh, and he fights him. He gives him a right hook. Toothless Joe Jackson gives him a right hook, and Valdez is laying on the floor. He's out cold. Out cold. The other drivers rush on to protect Valdez. Joe Jackson is stood over him, waving his finger, but the result is in the books. There's no point in all this shenanigans at the end of the race. The winner, because of engine failure by his last opponent, the winner, Pancho Papadoc Valdez, lying prostrate on the floor, not able to collect his prize money or his trophy, but once he comes round, and he's beginning to come round, he's moving, so everything's fine. Joe Jackson is being escorted away. A couple of policemen have him, and no doubt they will take care of business. So let's give you the final standings. Ira the Bible Basher Cross finishes 9th, and he will drop to a B grade on his car. So let's find him. We're looking for number 45. I'll find him later. Oh, there he is. Wrong pile. Let's use the one. So he is now a D grade. Finishes 9th. In 8th is number 16, Barney the Boss Cox in his 62 Venus sedan. In 7th, in the 1960 Victory sedan, number 5, Legless Tommy Wallace. In 6th, in the 65 Brute passenger van, is number 66, Charlene the Cheat Annis. In 5th, in the 78 El Presidente limousine, number 23, Colin the Gimp Ball. In 4th, in the 69 Jupiter Coupe is number 50, Blind Billy Butts. And the top 3, number 24, in the 66 Seaboard Coupe, Custom Coupe, Bleeding Betty Royce, who was looking good at the most of the race. 2nd, in the 65 National Sedan, number 1, Toothless Joe Jackson. But the winner, in his 73 Puma Sports Sedan, number 33, Papadoc Pancho Valdez, who will go to a B grade. So hope you've enjoyed that, and hope you'll be back for this second race, whenever that may be. This is really filling in while the unions, sort out the YouTube Pro Drivers Race Team League. But hopefully you've enjoyed this, and leave a comment and let me know what you think. Thanks very much, and we'll talk again soon.